jump start. And leading privateer from last year, the Australian on race stringers, level 3 Yamaha, has also caught a 10-second penalty for a jump start.
Yeah, he looks quite frustrated, Paul Young, this season. I think they've had a bit of a reliability problem with the level 3 Yamahas. And it starts to get you down after a while.
Indeed, and that's despite Carl Fogarty's chief mechanic, of course, Slick Bass joining the team for the year. I don't think he's settling down too well either. Meanwhile, back at the front of this field, we are on round 3, race 3 in the British Superbike Championship. It's Hizzy, the pole. Sparks flying off, and knee sliders there from Chris Walker, it looked to me anyway, into the face of John Reynolds. Reynolds is right there with Walker on bike number 2. 3 is Reynolds, back now. Hodgson is in 4th place on 4, and Hayden has dropped off a bit on bike number 5, back in 5th place.
Looks like they're catching up a little bit on Hislop there. He didn't look that hard on the brakes into the Melbourne hairpin. I think Walker might have dragged Reynolds up with him a little bit up on Hizzy.
What is Chris Walker? Oh, flames from the exhaust pipe there on the Suzuki. So, Chris Walker, he is all action style, isn't he? Really, that bike is sideways on it, flames breathing fire out the back of it. John Reynolds must be in fear of trying to pass him. I don't know about anything else. Now then, see if you can spot for me whether Hizzy, yes, I was about to ask you, Scott, whether Hizzy might already be running into some tyre problems, because you were right. He was suddenly looking like he was a bit slack through that half of the course, but this is the fastest place on the track for him.
Yeah, Hislop's awesome through this section. I don't think any of the riders know exactly what to expect from their tyres, because it rained last night and the track's a lot colder than qualifying yesterday. So nobody's managed to test their slicks in these conditions yet, so it's a bit of a gamble.
Well, James Hayden was fastest in warm-up this morning, didn't do him a lot of good. Chris Walker was right there with him though in times, but of course it's dry since morning warm-up. And at the moment it is Hizzy, the pole man. Remember, he set pole time at Brands Hatch, couldn't convert it. He set pole time here at Donington. He's due a race win, and it will be a popular race win. Even for the guys behind him, they would, anybody's going to win it. There, of course, Hizzy is the man that they all admire, as I hold my breath again as Walker backs it into the S's with John Reynolds right there. Now then, Reynolds was annoyed after qualifying. Annabelle, she put the old flag out just when he thought he was going to get an extra lap. So the deputy clerk of the course on the start line, Annabelle Webb, put the flag out, and Reynolds came back into pit lane, absolutely spitting tacks. He was not happy. He thought he would get pole off of Hizzy given an extra lap. Wasn't he unlucky?
Yeah, I mean, it's amazing that all riders, you seem to be able to pull out that little bit extra on the last lap of qualifying. It's not particularly cup-conscious thought either.
Well, Reynolds has certainly got his aggression worked out to a T, because he came in a lap earlier and he's still got loads of aggression on board. He needed another lap to dump it. Easy leads at Redgate. Sorry, carry on.
Hayden's lost quite a lot of ground to Hodgson's. Hodgson's repassed him, and looks like Hodgson's back after Reynolds.
I tell you what, the back end of that Yamaha is sitting down, squirming for mercy, coming out of Redgate corner there of Hislop's bike, and he looks like he's lost ground there. He just doesn't have the power out of the Redgate corner. It looks like he's losing a bit of grip there, and even on part of the course that Hizzy is renowned to be good. Look at how much Walker and Reynolds have made up on him.
Yeah,
the gap across
the line was half a second on the last lap, and it was nearly a second after the first couple of laps, so they're pulling him in at quite a large rate of knots.
Up towards McLean's. We're at McLean's already. Still it is Chris Walker there on bike number 2, the National Tyre Suzuki in second place behind him. The Reve Red Bull Ducati of number 3, John Reynolds. Reynolds, of course, won race 1 in this series this year at Brands Hatch, so we know he's a race winner. His teammate Hayden, well, he's going to have to wait until race 2 by the look at this one. But
Walker's looking like he's even more and more aggressive, so I think he can smell Hislop again and knows he's going to catch him up.
Yeah, but personally, I think it's a bad thing. We've got a 19-lap race here, and as you've already said, cold tyre syndrome can be a major problem, and if he manages to cook those tyres up a little bit, Neil Mackenzie, 3 times British Superbike champion, ex-Grand Prix man, just gets himself in front of Sean Emmett on the Travis Perkins Harris Honda Britain bike.
Yeah, that's the new VTR 1000, so that they haven't had much practice time on that.
And 24 there coming into shot as well. Peter Goddard, the ex-Aprilia World Superbike man. But in front of these men, on the green Kawasaki, is Steve Plater, having his best Superbike ride. Remember, he's a Supersport rider that's come to join this mob. He's in front of number 7, Neil Mackenzie, on the INS Ducati. And of course, Steve Plater beating his teammate, which is always pretty advantageous. That's Goddard back at the front. It is Hislop under pressure, I feel, now from Chris Walker, who's closing in along Hollywood and down toward Craners.
Yeah, first guy you always want to beat is your teammate, and Peter Goddard's not exactly having it his own way, and I would imagine he came here pretty confident.
Yeah.
And it's not working out for him just yet.
Well, I mean, you would have expected Brands Hatch and this track, Donington, of course, to be his best. They're the young ones he's ridden on because he's a World Superbike man, so he knows this track real well. Incidentally, the lap record is held here by Troy Causer at 1 minute 33.47. That's 96.22 miles an hour. April 96 that stood from. And if you think about the fact that they were under that by 0.2 of a second in qualifying, his qualifying time was faster than the lap record here. Nothing too much unusual about that, but just goes to underline just how close British Superbike racing is to World Championship stuff.
Yeah, it's the same in the Super Sport class as well. I think the British level in the last 3 or 4 years has come up and up and up. So I think all the regular guys fear coming here, the regular World Superbike guys fear coming here like they fear going to Japan.
Well, they're still 1.2 seconds outside the lap record at the moment, though, because Hayden backing it into the Melbourne Loop there, right in front of us. He is the fastest man on the track at the moment, and he needs to be, because he's got to catch these guys. Oh, he's under pressure, because Walker is all over him like the proverbial raincoat. Then right in front of Tom Wheatcroft's sweep onto the start and finish line. It is Hizzy that leads just from Chris Walker, from John Reynolds, from Hodgson, and then Hayden. That's the top 5.
Yeah, Hodgson and Hayden look like they're both catching up in the leading group, so pretty soon we might be able to see a 5-way battle for the lead.
Redgate corner onto Hollywood, and despite the conditions, you can see the size of the crowd here. It has been absolutely freezing, chucking it down with rain first thing this morning. It really is very, very cold, the coldest day of the 3 days we've been here. But Hizzy is doing them proud. A very popular win this would be if he can manage it.
See how much track Walker was using there at the bottom of Grain Curves, out in the dirty bit, so pretty brave.
The bike is all over the place. Chris Walker at Brands Hatch, when he watched our coverage, he couldn't believe just where his motorcycle was going. I think he shocked himself.
Yeah, but to be fair, it seems to be the way he likes it, and he gets it around the track quick enough.
Certainly made the Kawasaki squirm all over the place last year as well. Hizzy and Cobbis up onto the back straight towards the Dunlop Bridge, feeding it up through the gearbox now, up in the 5th gear. A little wheelie under the Dunlop Bridge there will be. Well, maybe not, only for Chris Walker in 2nd place. So the rest of them keeping their feet firmly on the ground, and they need to, because Hodgson's coming to play. Number 4, Neil Hodgson on the INF Ducati. He's right there with them now.
Walker looked like he's going to try and make a pass.
Did you see that? You were so right there, Scott. Trying to make a pass or trying to mug the Scotsman. Oh,
I don't think he's not quite expected that.
Reynolds come through. Reynolds takes a pair of them. Good on you, John. So the man from Nottingham just took the position. Well, Walker destabilised his lot and took 1st place. Reynolds got the pair of them as they were trying to sort themselves out and get their feet back on the footrest. John Reynolds then, no invitation necessary, straight through into the lead. Off comes a tear-off visor from Chris Walker. Well,
his lot once again looks over the wrong shoulder to see who else is going to overtake him and gets past up the inside.
Oh, it's Hodgson this time that gets him at Redgate. So a new order, number 3, it's John Reynolds on the Rev A Red Bull Ducati from number 2. Talk us through this, Scott.
You can just see coming out of the S's here, he's taking a nice wide line, and Walker's up the inside, and it looks like they actually touched there because there just wasn't enough racetrack.
Well, look at John Reynolds, ever the opportunist going for it. This is Hodgson trying to make a pass down into Redgate. Oh, dear me, that was Hizzy getting mugged again.
Yeah, so Hislop wasn't one of the better laps for Steve Hislop then.
So, up towards McLean's we go. Reynolds, Walker, Hodgson and Hizzy, who has gone from 1st back to 4th in the space of, what, 6 corners. He's not going to be happy with that.
We'll get to see how quick the Yamaha is now. We've only seen it leading before.
There we go, 34.4 then. That's getting a bit more like it now. They're right, just a second outside the lap record we're travelling at the moment. Still a long way to go in this race yet, though.
Yeah, don't forget, it's a lot easier to qualify. You get to run stickier tyres, which won't actually go race distance. The track's a lot colder, and they're carrying a lot more fuel. Like 15 kilograms more fuel makes a big difference to a lap time.
We've got a yellow flag out. There's a yellow flag out of the S's. Does that indicate some kind of problem down in the Melbourne Loop? We're going to find out when we get there. No passing, of course, under a yellow flag. Reynolds,
I think yellows, you're not allowed to park, but Walker's still not backing off.
That's for sure. He's backing it in. I don't know, backing off. That rear tyre on Walker's bike has got to go.
Where's Hislop?
Hizzy is out. Hizzy's bike has given up the ghost. Well, that is such a shame. Steve Hislop then, the pole man, is out of this race and walks back to the paddock while we look back from Hizzy, and that was Hayden going past him. So Hizzy is about to pull off. His bike was already done and dusted. Back at the front, Reynolds off. And again, did you see Stalker Walker sideways on?
Sideways into Redgate. He's been doing that lap after lap, and see him into the Melbourne hairpin as well.
Hollywood, Crane of Curves, we're on them now. The frightening, the devastatingly tough Crane of Curves down to the old hairpin. Lots of weight on the front end of the bike here. He's got to be brave to carry this off right. Now then, Neil Hodgson, been taking his time. He's been right there all the way through this race. He could be on for a win here.
Yeah, and also let's think it, he will have the most preserved tyres because everybody else has been battling for the lead, so they'll probably use their bikes a bit harder.
Although having said that, Reynolds doesn't look like he's been working that bike very hard. He was gifted that first place. I mean, he's been sitting on... Reynolds is a very smooth rider. I'd be surprised if he's using his tyres anywhere near as hard. Well, he's certainly not using them as hard as Chris Walker, because I don't think anybody in the race is.
Yeah, I think Walker just certainly abuses his equipment, but Reynolds looked like he was getting it quite squirrely out of Goddard's a few laps ago.
So, down towards the left-hander of the Ashes, then the right, flicking right, back on the power. Watch that Suzuki squirm as he kicks it through another gear, up to fourth gear, over the right.